coming off of a huge win against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Buffalo Bills were flying high and playing the Miami Dolphins, but that quickly came crashing down as they lose the game to the Dolphins 30-13, getting run on by Shane on one end and Josh Allen playing a terrible game on the other end. Is this just a letdown loss or another sign that the Bills are in serious trouble? What is up, Bills Mafia and NFL fans? Welcome to the Lumia Sports podcast channel. Please check out some of these other videos that we have. We also do lives where me and Tony El Tigre go over the previews for every game of every week. We do it competitively, so we got a little wins and losses going on there. And our playlist in which we do every single team every week throughout the NFL season. And let's see what we've said about the Bills recently. We said that they would destroy the bumbling Dolphins. Wrong. We said the defense proved me wrong against Patrick Mahomes. Well, for a week, James Cook got a shout out, and check out some of these other videos. Please hope you enjoy. Give us a sub and a like, and appreciate everyone who is subbed and liked. Now back to the episode. So right now, as we look at the AFC, the Bills come in. They are the 6th team in the conference after that loss to the Dolphins, falling now down one spot. They were 5th last week, so they are now beneath the Chargers. Big thing is they have that win over the Chiefs, so in a tiebreaker situation, if that were to happen, they wouldn't fall under them. The Jags are sitting there at 5-4. I feel like we kind of all expect them to fall out a little bit. I do think a possible semi-dangerous sign, but not a real one. The Ravens coming up, and not specifically to the Bills, because the Bills would still own that tiebreaker to the Ravens. But if the Ravens win enough games, then you would be in a situation where the Steelers are now a wild card team. And even though I think the Bills will end up with more wins than the Steelers, just things to watch. Again, right now, wouldn't have them at all missing the playoffs. But with the Patriots still winning at 8-2, it looks like it's going to be, this loss made it just a little bit harder for them to kind of climb in to that top 3, as you see with the Colts, Broncos, and Patriots, and those 3 are all division leaders. So let's check out how that's looking for the Bills. Obviously, as we know, the Jets, not much of a competition, and neither are the Dolphins. However, the Patriots this year have answered the bell. They are 8-2, big win with them over the Buccaneers. They've already beaten the Bills as well, which is huge. And so, at best, the Bills can come away with a tie in that situation. But the other problem is now with that loss to the Dolphins, they now have one more division loss than the Patriots would, even if the Bills were to beat the Patriots next time they play. So now they need the Patriots to either lose another divisional game to the Dolphins or Jets, yikes, or they need to have more wins than the Patriots team that has 2 more wins than them and 1 less loss at this point. So, tough ask right now for the Bills, specifically with 9 games remaining. So we'll see what happens. 9 or 8? Hold up, my math was crazy. 8 for the Bills, 7 for the Patriots, 16-17. I'm making 18. My bad, y'all. But a lot to ask and a lot of games to make up with that amount of time. Now they do beat the Patriots, but like we said, gonna be tough for them. Let's see how the Bills have gotten to this point. I mean, they've won the division so many straight years. I don't think any of us thought that this was going to happen, but started off great come from behind victory against the Ravens. However, I was a little worried about the defense during that game, but they did come up, win that game, come from behind. Great Josh Allen performance. Beat the Jets, Dolphins. Dolphins looked a little shaky even in that first game. If you remember, that was a close game. Beat the Saints. So 3 really bad teams, and then losses to the Patriots on Sunday Night Football, the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Post-bye week, they came back strong, beating the Panthers down into submission. off of those 2 losses, and then beating the Chiefs in a huge game. But then this one just kind of messes everything up. I mean, losing to the Dolphins 30-13 as well. That's pretty crazy too, and not really what you want to see. And now coming up next, they get the Buccaneers, a Texans team that is going to still be in this race because they play the Titans next. And if the Texans get to 5-5 with that D-line and possibly C.J. Stroud coming back, that's a problem, especially, I just peeped, Thursday night football. Yikes. They play the Steelers after that. So a lot of that Steelers talk that we talked about, I mean, I assume they're going to beat the Steelers, but right now, again, with what they're putting on film, they got to rack up these wins. They play the Bengals. That's going to be an explosive game. Joe Burrow will probably be back for that. Patriots again. Browns, that should be a win. Eagles, Jets. It's these next 3 games are just super interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'd pick them to win all of them, but I also don't expect them to win all of them. And another loss, depending on who it's to, if it was to come to the Texans or the Steelers, would be not ideal. Really, really bad, in fact, because that means that they would lose a tiebreaker to one of those teams, and they would lose, and one of those other wildcard teams would win. So for the Bills to feel really, really good, probably 3-0, but even if you did go 2-1, a loss to the Bucs wouldn't kill you, but you got to beat the Texans and the Steelers to feel really, really secure with a playoff spot going forward. All right, and our new segment, I love this segment. It is Comment of the Week. We scour our best comments from across the land in the videos. So this would be either the last Bills preview or a review, and this time, Bills Mafia didn't come out. No comments on Comment of the Week. Boom, 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 bam. So come through, give us a comment, and we will shout you out if you have the best one. I mean, this game, there's a lot of components to it for the Bills, but I just think we got to be honest. I mean, there's a couple things that I think are deeper issues that I'll get to, but just for this game, because I don't think this is necessarily an issue in the playoffs. He's very good. But Josh Allen, really bad game. Things were going against him. His defense was getting lit up. Offensively, there was a fumble that wasn't his fault, but 16-0. They get down the field. They're on the 2-yard line, and he throws an awful pick. And that's just a pick that you can't throw in that situation. It's still before half. You score, and I think it was 2nd down, if I remember correctly. But if you score there, the Dolphins are well ripe to fold. Like, they're not some team like, they stink, right? I was gonna say some ridiculous. They're not obviously not a powerhouse. They're now 3-7. They're not a good team, and so if you would have put some pressure on them at any point, I think they could have folded it. But the Bills were never able to do that, and the first reason was that interception on the 2-yard line. Especially when you haven't scored any points, you need points on the board. And he made that mistake, and that just can't happen. And then 16-6, you go down. You do get some points. They run a tush-push QB sneak, and Josh, I mean, he's about to make a great play. He got like 20-25 yards on it, still running down the field. And then a Dolphins guy made a play, stripped him. He fumbled the ball. And his reaction just after was like, he's on the ground. He's like, sorry, Mom. Damn it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the frustration, knowing, because, I mean, that was in the 3rd quarter. I think that might have even been in the 4th quarter. But it was definitely their late 3rd, early 4th. And it was, again, another chance for the Bills are kind of building momentum. They have a chance to get back in the game. And he just fumbled the ball. Not what you want to see. Not ideal out of Josh Allen. However, we do know who Josh Allen is, I think, in the playoffs. I think, you know what I mean? I will say this year, though, because we got to be honest, he's having some rough moments. I mean, the Falcons game, just turnover machine that game. Patriots game, he was outplayed by Drake May. The Saints game, which a lot of people didn't see, but I saw it. He had a lot of risky passes, and suddenly he's celebrating because he's scoring a touchdown to take the lead against the Saints. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to be necessary to win some of these games. But it's not all on him. I mean, the play calling in this game from Joe Brady was awful. It was terrible. It was ridiculous. And, I mean, from going 4th and 1, no sneak early in the game, which led, I mean, again, he ran the sneak later. It worked until he fumbled. But it would have worked here, I guarantee you. The Dolphins, not very good on their D-line, and they just traded a D-lineman. But they instead call a 4th and 1 PA fake. The Dolphins had it wrapped up. Nothing there. A lot of just inconsistencies, a lot of 3 and outs. They had a possession where it even worked, but they called back-to-back screens with Josh Allen on like 2nd and 3rd down. And we'll get to the other thing in a minute. I just had a thought, but I'm gonna hold it up. But I do think that, yeah, like the play calling in this game, terrible. And the main reason, you look at what this Dolphins team does. Defensively, not very good. They're 24th in scoring. However, you got to pay attention. You got to do your homework. And I knew this because I do this, I guess, kind of for a semi-living now. But I watch all the games. The Dolphins' run defense, very bad. 30th in the league in run defense. And sometimes that can come because, you know what I mean, you're always down. You're always trailing teams just run the ball. Nope, the Dolphins' run defense, the weakness of their entire team, honestly, other than Tua, depending on what he'll give you from a game-to-game basis. But their pass defense, very good. And we've seen a couple times this year, like, it took Lamar a little bit to get. He had 4 touchdowns, but that was some of their defense stepping up. Henry ran for 119. So maybe the Bills saw that, and they were like, oh, we can throw it on him. And they did. They threw for 300 yards, but they weren't effective against the Dolphins because they kept attacking the Dolphins' strength, letting them be comfortable and stopping the pass. The way you beat the Dolphins is you just beat them up and run the ball. James Cook, and now I heard he got a little banged up at some point throughout the game, and he did fumble the ball too. Like, James Cook, not a good game for him. Mainly, obviously, because he fumbled it. And if he was hurt, I think I saw him in the game, but people said that he might have got banged up. Regardless, I don't care. Run Ty Johnson. Like, you cannot. That is malpractice to go up there with essentially not even essentially a huge game. You're still fighting for your playoff life. The Dolphins, it's still week 10, but they keep fighting. If you just watched 2 weeks ago against the Falcons, like, they're not done. There are some teams with the same record as them that are more done. You've seen it. Commanders, toast. We had Commanders Lions. I was like, 3.5 point favorite. Tony the Tiger wanted to bet on it. It was easy. Some of these, but this game. Now, we talked about it, and we even preferenced it with, we took the Bills to win by 10. But we prefaced it with, we did that last time when it was like a 16-point favorite, and the Dolphins played them to 10. And we were joking, like, no, we're not going to do it because if you don't follow the formula, if you run it 22 times, again, 87 yards, not great. But they were doing like Elijah Moore plays, Ray Davis, 2 rushes, I don't even remember his 2 rushes. But you got to impose your will. And when you do 22 runs, and by the way, 4 of those Josh Allen scrambles, one was, I guess, a tush push. So let's say 3 Josh Allen scrambles. So 19 called runs to 40 passes in a game that never really got away. It was 16-6 with the ball, Bills ball. Like they it was just a ridiculous way to scheme up a game in which the Dolphins have a clear weakness, and when teams don't attack that weakness, they feel really good and they start playing well. You saw the Ravens went right at it. They weren't even, and they did, and the Ravens even offensively struggled a little bit with this Dolphins team. For whatever reason, this Dolphins team is fighting hard. and they have been for the last 3 weeks. But if you're the Bills, like, you just made it easy for them not running the ball. You did exactly what they wanted, what they wanted you to do. And the offensive line has now again struggling with blitzes. There were plays where Dawkins was just getting bullied. Like, Josh Allen was also getting screamed at. He got sacked 3 times in this game, whereas Tua didn't get sacked at all. And there were 7 hits. But that's what happens when you allow them to tee off and just rush the passer and not have to deal with run lanes or staying disciplined in that aspect. So, very bad. Game plan, execution, everything when it came to this game. And this defense, man, the Bills stand in jeopardy of overcorrecting to try to beat the Chiefs because their run defense is actually, well, we should talk about this first. Along with their run, along with wide receiver, where they wanted to trade for Waddle, could have traded a 1 and a 3, didn't. Does seem a little steep for Waddle. However, they wanted to do it for a future, so I don't know. But they clearly need a receiver. They can't get open in man coverage. And Josh Allen, for the most part of the game, he had the highest time to throw of anyone, I think, in the league, 3.5 anyone's had all season. That's been a popular stat going around. There were sometimes he was getting screamed at, I'm not going to lie. But a lot of times people just weren't open. But defensively, let's back to the defense. They can get run on easily. And this game, Mike McDaniel, man, he did this to the Falcons. If you have a sketchy run defense, he's testing it. And opposite of the Bills' game plan, 32 rushes, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns for the team to only 21 passes. I mean, 2 picks. Those 21 passes, too. But, I mean, yeah, and A-Chain just was completely dominant. 22 rushes, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. He broke off a 60-yard run, and then another long run, I believe. He was just cooking them, like, all game. He also had 51 receiving yards, so it was clear they were going to A-Chain. They couldn't stop it. They couldn't do anything about it. They have 2 real guys that they went to all game. You knew who they were. It's A-Chain and Waddle, and they couldn't take them away. And that's, I mean, a thing, right? Like, the good thing is, obviously, the Chiefs aren't going to get some stud running back like A-Chain at any point. But when you have a flaw this glaring, because you're like, all right, the Chiefs can't take advantage of that. No, they can't. But, again, you might be better than these teams. But matchup styles make fights. Colts. I think the Bills would beat the Colts. But Jonathan Taylor against this running defense could be a problem. Broncos. Bo Nix. Whatever. But they get pressure on the quarterback. They have a top defense. And they are able to run the ball. Now, I think that the Bills would have the Broncos specifically in the bag. Colts would be a little interesting, but the Colts' defense isn't as good. Like, the Bills have other things they could take advantage of. But if they get down a little bit and then it's just Josh Allen having to watch this defense try to stop the run, you saw it in this game. And then he presses a little bit because he's like, I have to score every time because our run defense can't stop anything. That's what you see. And even Hairston, he got a pick. He got bombed, but he got a pick. And again, a lot of guys have Waddle speed to be able to beat Hairston. Their new corner, Maxwell Hairston, on the outside, who's very, very fast. But they were getting really cooked up all game. They got some picks because Tua throws those, but the most in the league, actually. But, I mean, for the Bills, not at all. The performance that you'd want to see from them. Now, I don't want to go all hyperbolic, be like, this is why, you know what I mean? I've said what I said about the defense. I do think it's a flaw. I do think it's going to stop them from winning the Super Bowl. I just do. It's just they're so leaky run defense-wise. But right now, you just got to be like, all right, it's another weird loss. Yes, we beat the Chiefs, but we're literally built to beat them in the regular season. And they were at home that game. You get the Buccaneers. Like, this Bills team still has a lot to prove and a lot to earn and gain and a lot to lose. A lot to lose. They can miss the playoffs. This is it's not like they can't. So I'm interested to see. I don't think they will, but I'm definitely curious because there's some issues, man. Coaching wise, with the offense, they have no rhythm. That's not Cook or Kincaid. The receivers get the ball the least amount in the NFL per targets. I mean, the offensive line is starting to get a little handled. And defensively, even though the pass defense is great, still second in league pass defense, still ninth in the league scoring defense, that running defense, when people figure it out, not even figure it out, when people see it, are the Bucks getting Bucky Irvin back? Now, Texans can't run. The Steelers are offensively inept in those upcoming games, but Henderson is in now. Trayvon Henderson is in. Chase Brown, can he run on them? Saquon, this run defense. Jonathan Taylor in the playoffs. Again, Henderson playoffs. Derrick Henry, we saw what Derrick Henry did to him. That's not good. To have one that bad and try to be a Super Bowl contender. So we'll see what happens with the Bills going forward. These are the warning signs. We've seen them earlier. We're seeing them again. Can their overall talent, can Josh Allen just carry him through them? Maybe. But that's just a tough thing to bank on as the season keeps going on and as you start playing some of the better teams in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.